Baby Doll by Scarlett Barlow, illustrated by Alexander Zolotic, published by Magic Wagon, a division of Abdo. Chapter 1. The Phone Call. Before that awful rain-soaked Monday in July, Lily LaRue thought she knew exactly what a bad day felt like. Days like that are just a part of life, Dad was always saying. We wouldn't know how good being happy feels if we were never sad. But Monday wasn't like other bad days. It was especially bad. Lily knew it the moment she saw Mom's face after picking up the phone that rang, harshly, right in the middle of breakfast. As Mom listened to whoever was on the other end of the call, the corners of her mouth turned down, her eyebrows pulled together in the middle, and then she stepped into the other room. "Uh-oh," Lily said, her mouth full of waffles and syrup. She looked at Dad, hoping he'd offer her a comforting smile, but he was too busy looking to the other room where Mom had gone. It was easy to see he was concerned. This made Lily's stomach flutter nervously. "Dad?" Lily tried again. "Is Mom okay?" But still he didn't say anything. Outside, the rain fell in sharp taps against the glass of the kitchen window. It always rained in July where Lily lived, in the mountains of Arizona. Lily usually loved monsoon season, but today, the dark gray sky and ominous booms of thunder made her feel like she was trapped in a ghost story. Something was wrong. She could feel it. "I'll go check," Dad finally replied. He was already halfway out of his chair. He joined Mom. Lily was left alone with her waffles and the rain. "Weird," she said out loud. She took a sip of juice and swung her legs back and forth underneath the table. Weird, weird, weird. A long time went by. Lily thought she could hear her mother making other phone calls, her voice a low, urgent hush. Another clap of thunder made the house rumble. "You are not afraid of thunder," Lily told herself. She was embarrassed. She jumped at the sound. A famous explorer wouldn't be scared. Before she could be proven wrong by another flash of light and rolling boom of noise, her parents came back into the kitchen. Mom didn't look better. In fact, she looked worse. Dad didn't look very happy either. They sat at the table beside Lily, but neither of them picked up their forks again. "Who was that on the phone?" Lily asked quietly. She didn't want to upset anyone further, but she was unable to hide her curiosity for another second. "That was your Aunt Roxanne," Dad said. "We have some bad news about Grandma." Mom's face was a funny color, like she wasn't feeling very well. Suddenly, Lily didn't feel like eating waffles anymore. She let her fork fall down on the plate, not caring that the handle landed in a smear of maple syrup. Grandma was one of her favorite people in the whole entire world, with her long nails and her red lipstick and her sweater pockets filled with butterscotch candies. Lily hadn't seen Grandma in 5 months because of how far away she lived. "What about Grandma?" Lily managed to say, and that's when Mom started crying. The sight of it shocked Lily so much she had to resist the urge to flee the room and hide under the covers of her bed. "Dad, I'm scared." "I'm sorry, honey," Mom said through her tears. She moved to take Lily's hand in hers. "I don't mean to scare you. I'm just very sad is all. Grandma had a heart attack, and it doesn't look like she's going to get better." Her voice cracked at the end of her sentence. She cleared her throat as more tears slipped down her cheeks. So many thoughts flashed through Lily's mind at once. What did all of this even mean? Dad continued to explain, while Mom sniffled and rubbed Lily's hand. "Your mom and I will need to travel to California as soon as we can," he said. "Unfortunately, we won't be able to take you with us because they won't let kids into that part of the hospital. And there's nobody here who can watch you for the amount of time we'll be away." Lily's eyes widened in panic. If they couldn't take her with, but there was nobody to watch her, did that mean she'd be home all alone? During monsoon season? Lily took pride in being able to do things herself, even creating meals from whatever she could find in the refrigerator. but the idea of being all alone in their house for more than a few hours was chilling. "Are you going to leave me here?" Lily asked, feeling very small. "By myself?" "Of course not," Mom assured her, giving Lily's hand a little squeeze. "But you're going to have to do something kind of scary." Chapter 2. Something Scary. Everything became too much. Lily couldn't even bring herself to ask what her mother possibly had in mind. Knowing that it was scary was bad enough. Before Mom could say another word, Lily started to cry. "It's all right, Lily," Dad said. He pulled his chair closer to hers. "The scary thing Mom is talking about is just an airplane, that's all." Lily looked up and wiped away her tears. "An airplane? I've never been on one of those." "We know you haven't," Mom said gently. "But you're going to have to ride one all by yourself sometime in the next day or two," Dad said. "But you said I couldn't come with you," Lily sniffled. "Do I get to see Grandma after all?" It was starting to sink in. Grandma's heart attack meant there'd be a time, soon, that Lily would never see her again. The thought made Lily want to scream, throw her plate across the kitchen, kick her feet on the tile floor like she did when she was little. Instead, she sat up straight, trying to be strong for Mom. Grandma was Mom's mother, after all. Mom must have been devastated over this news. "No, I'm afraid not," Dad said. "But you will get to see your cousin River in Florida." Despite the bad news, Lily couldn't help but feel a flash of happiness. River had been her favorite cousin ever since she could remember. Whenever they saw each other, it was like no time had passed at all. They loved having sleepovers, exploring the woods in Lily's backyard, and going to the swimming pool. But all their lives, it had been River's family who visited Arizona from Florida, never the other way around. Lily hardly cared that going to stay with River meant she'd have to ride an airplane all by herself. Lily wanted to be a famous explorer, someone who wasn't afraid to see new lands, have new experiences, and discover new things. Traveling to Florida could be a great way to spend a chunk of her summer vacation. Lily listened to her mom explain everything. Grandma was still alive as of now, but her condition was worsening by the hour, and it was crucial that Dad drive them to California as soon as possible. Mom promised to call Lily on the phone so she could talk to Grandma. "Got it," Lily said, even though she was still a little scared. "I'll go pack my bags." The next morning, Lily was on the airplane, waiting nervously for takeoff. While she waited for the flight attendant to return with her drink, Lily looked out the window at all the rain. Lily remembered the times Grandma took her exploring in the woods behind her house. They'd find cool little creatures, bugs, and plants. Grandma knew all about them. Then she'd make Lily lunch and tell her stories. The last time Lily hugged Grandma goodbye, Lily started crying because she didn't want to leave. Grandma gave her a charm bracelet and squeezed her tight, the smell of her flowery perfume heavy in Lily's nose. She said, "Don't be sad, Lily. I'll see you again real soon, I promise, before you know it." But Lily hadn't seen Grandma since then, and from what Mom and Dad said, she would never get to see Grandma again. It just wasn't fair. She promised. A lump grew in Lily's throat, and she felt tears stinging her eyes. The flight attendant came back with the soda and thought Lily was crying because she was scared of the plane. Lily didn't correct her. She felt too embarrassed. Plus, she knew if she opened her mouth and tried to talk about Grandma, she'd only cry harder. "Just remember," Lily told herself as the plane pulled onto the runway, "you're going to see River. You're going on an adventure." Chapter 3. Arriving in Florida. Lily closed her eyes as the plane engines rumbled louder. Suddenly, the plane started to go much faster, faster than Lily could have ever imagined. "Pretend you're in a rocket ship," she told herself, keeping her eyes closed. In her lap, her hands were squeezed tightly around the can of soda. "Pretend you're going to explore outer space." The plane continued to zoom across the runway. Then, Lily felt it lift up into the air. Her stomach flopped as she opened one eye to look out the window. Sure enough, they were going higher and higher by the minute. At first, she was afraid, but seeing how calm everybody else on the plane was made Lily feel better. The plane evened out and soared through the air, leaving Lily to drink her soda and eat trail mix. She read a book until her eyelids started feeling droopy and heavy. Just a little nap, she thought as she closed her eyes. I had to get up so early this morning, and I don't want to be tired for River. But by the time Lily opened her eyes again, it was already time for the plane to land. So much for a little nap. Lower and lower the plane flew, until Lily could see cars driving on the freeway and buildings and trees and the airport below. The plane jerked hard as it touched down on the ground. Lily found herself closing her eyes again in order to keep from getting too scared. Soon, everybody was getting out of their seats. The flight attendant who gave Lily the soda before came over right away to help. First, she took Lily's suitcase out of the overhead compartment. Then, she led Lily into the airport. Lily took a deep breath through her nose. Florida even smelled different from Arizona. She remembered how far away Florida was on the map of the United States. Lily couldn't believe she was so far from Mom, Dad, and Grandma. Lily stepped onto the escalator. She immediately spotted Aunt Chelsea, Uncle Tyler, and River. They were waiting at the bottom of the stairs. Uncle Tyler gripped a small bunch of balloons. Aunt Chelsea held a flower. River waved a big glittering sign that said, "Welcome, Lily." "That's my family," Lily squealed, pointing at the group. The flight attendant smiled. "Lily!" River shrieked, dropping the sign and running at her cousin with her arms out. River's hair was much longer than Lily remembered. River looked taller, too. Lily wondered if she looked any different to River. The two girls hugged tight. Lily heard Uncle Tyler and Aunt Chelsea thank the flight attendant for bringing Lily safely. Before she knew it, they were walking out of the airport and into the Florida weather. It was extremely hot, just like it was in Arizona, but the air here was wet and heavy. Lily wasn't sure she cared for it. It made everything feel sweaty. "Welcome to Florida, Lily LaRue," Uncle Tyler said with a big smile. "Something tells me you'll remember this trip for the rest of your life." The first thing they did was go out for a big early dinner. The restaurant served seafood in metal buckets. Instead of plates, there was a huge piece of thick brown paper on the table. There were also napkins, hot sauce, and a few baskets of cheese biscuits. "So, what's your house like, River?" Lily asked. "It's old," River replied. "Apparently, a long time ago, there was a woman who lived there all alone, except for hundreds of dolls." "Dolls?" Lily's eyes widened. "That sounds kind of creepy." "It was," River exclaimed. "We saw a picture of them once. The photo was all by itself in our attic. None of us knew how it got there." Aunt Chelsea looked uncomfortable. Lily wondered why. "It said on the back of the picture that the dolls were her forever friends," River continued. "That's enough talk about the photo," Aunt Chelsea said, her voice strange. "The woman and her dolls are gone. We don't have to worry about them." Lily couldn't understand why Aunt Chelsea talked about the woman and her dolls like she was afraid. Weren't grown-ups supposed to be unafraid of everything? Then Lily remembered how afraid Mom had sounded yesterday about Grandma. She pushed it out of her mind. Lily sipped on a sweetened iced tea with lemon. Then she and River updated each other on their lives. Both girls were excited to start school when summer was over. River told Lily she got a new pet, a blue-tongued skink named Elizabeth. "What's a blue-tongued skink?" Lily asked between her giggles. "It's a big fat lizard," River cried in delight. "It's like a snake with tiny legs." Lily had never seen such a creature before, but she felt like this was what her trip to Florida was about. A trip of firsts. First airplane ride, first sighting of a blue-tongued skink, her first time seeing the ocean. "When are we going to the beach?" she asked as the food was being delivered. The waitress set down a huge pail filled with all sorts of things: boiled potatoes, pieces of corn on the cob, bright red crab legs, shrimp, and sausage. Lily took a little of everything, just like a true adventurer would. Uncle Tyler and Aunt Chelsea looked at each other, their brows a little furrowed. All of a sudden, Lily's tummy felt heavy. Did she ask something wrong? We actually aren't going to be able to make it to the beach while you're here, Aunt Chelsea finally said. I'm so sorry, but Uncle Tyler has a lot of work to do at home. This whole visit was a little unexpected. We'll do the beach next time. I promise. Lily suddenly felt silly for even assuming they'd go to the beach in the first place. Of course they wouldn't. It's not like this was even a real vacation. Lily was only here because Grandma was sick and dying. How selfish of her to even ask. Are you okay, Lily? River asked. You look like you're going to cry. Lily felt her face get hot. Oh, honey, Aunt Chelsea said. She reached over to pat Lily on the back. I'm sorry about the beach. I had no idea you'd be so disappointed. No, it's fine, Lily insisted, forcing the tears away. She refused to cry twice in one day, especially when she was sitting here in the sun with River eating fancy food. My eyes got itchy for some reason, but they feel better now. She could tell Aunt Chelsea and Uncle Tyler didn't believe her, but River did, and that was all Lily really cared about. Who cared about the dumb old beach anyway? Now, she could explore the land around River's house. It was sure to be just as interesting, right? Chapter 4. The Old Photograph. Dinner was delicious. Lily didn't expect to like the meat inside of the crab legs so much, but it was pleasantly sweet and especially good when she dipped it in the tiny bowl filled with melted butter and garlic. They ate their way through the bucket of crab. The brown paper was soon covered in butter, hot sauce, and bits of water. After they washed their hands with wipes and paid the check, they made their way out of the restaurant. Aunt Chelsea led the girls into an ice cream parlor, remarking about how she hoped they saved room for dessert. This will hold you over for the long drive ahead, Uncle Tyler said with a wink. He handed Lily a big cookie ice cream sandwich rolled in sprinkles. It's 2 hours from here to home. I live that far away from my airport, too, Lily said, taking a lick of the bright blue ice cream. If only the plane could have dropped me off right at your front door. If only, River repeated, and took a huge bite out of her ice cream sandwich. But then we couldn't have gone to the crab hut. True, Lily giggled. The ride home was as long as Uncle Tyler promised. Everybody was all talked out from dinner, so Lily sat back and looked out the window. The more they drove, the thicker the trees got, and more ground was covered in marshy swamplands. It wasn't exactly the palm tree paradise Lily had always imagined. After a few hours, Uncle Tyler turned off the road and onto a very long, very skinny driveway. The driveway swept around in a big circle, through some dense clusters of trees, and finally pulled up to a small, flat, light brown house. Here we are, River cried excitedly, jumping out of the car and running inside without waiting for Lily. Somehow, the air felt even hotter here than it did at the airport, and even damper, and so heavy. The smell of rotting marsh overtook everything else. Lily looked around, trying to imagine what it might be like to explore, but it looked a little more intense than she could manage with just her plain sneakers. She'd need some swamp boots if she wanted to go more away from the house. Where does River play outside? Lily asked Aunt Chelsea. They waited for Uncle Tyler to grab Lily's suitcase out of the trunk. Oh, about that, Aunt Chelsea said. That strange look she had earlier at dinner was there again, making Lily's tummy feel nervous. There's something very important that I want to tell you, Lily, she began. You must never play outside. These swamps are home to alligators and other animals you wouldn't want to run into. We take River to gymnastics a few times a week because it's just not safe to play in our yard. Yet another disappointment for Lily's Florida trip. How could she go exploring if she wasn't even allowed outside? She was starting to feel like this was going to be a long, long week. Did you hear me, Lily? Aunt Chelsea asked. She leaned down to put her hand on Lily's shoulder. "It's very, very important that you stay inside." "Okay, yeah," Lily said softly. "I'll stay inside the whole time I'm here." "Good girl," Aunt Chelsea said. "I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to you while you're staying with us." Inside, the house was cramped and dark. All of the blinds were closed to keep the hot sunshine out, and knowing that she couldn't play outside made Lily feel like she was in a cage. She put her suitcase in River's room, then came back out to the living room and plopped down on the couch. "So, what should we do?" Lily asked River, who was pulling her sneakers off and throwing them into a pile of shoes near the door. Lily thought she'd better do the same. "I don't know," River said. "We could draw, or watch a movie, or—" "Ooh!" Her eyes widened in excitement, and she lowered her voice so that nobody else could hear her. "We could look at that picture of the creepy lady with her dolls." Lily remembered how Aunt Chelsea had reacted when the picture came up at dinner. She couldn't help but feel a little curious once again as to why. Maybe there was something really scary in the photo, if it even made adults nervous. If there was, Lily wanted to see. "Okay," Lily whispered to her cousin. "But where is it? We can't let your mom know." "Duh," River whispered back. "She told me she threw it away, but when I was sneaking around looking for Halloween candy last year, I found the spot where she hides it. It's so creepy." The girls waited until Uncle Tyler made a run out to the grocery store and Aunt Chelsea got in the shower. "Now's the perfect time," River squealed gleefully. "Let's do it." The girls tiptoed into Aunt Chelsea and Uncle Tyler's room. The bathroom door beside the dresser was open a crack. Hot steam from the shower floated out like a misty ghost. Lily followed River over to the closet, which had several little shelves for shoes, purses, and belts. River reached her arm to the shelf in the very back corner, biting her lip nervously as she felt around for the photo. "She keeps it stuffed back here," River whispered. She finally pulled out a big square photograph. "Here it is." Lily looked down at the photo. Her blood suddenly ran cold. In the photo was a woman, sitting in the same room that the couch was currently in. Surrounding her were dozens, no, hundreds of old dolls. The woman was not smiling. In fact, she looked quite unhappy. Sitting on the woman's lap was a particularly old-looking doll, wearing a frilly white dress. There were scuff marks on the doll's face, and her hair was black and curly. "Creepy," Lily said. She wished she hadn't looked at the photo after all. It felt like the old lady in the picture was looking right into her soul. Suddenly, the sound of the shower turning off made River jump. "Hurry!" she squeaked. River snatched the photo out of Lily's hands and stuffed it back into its hiding place. "She's coming!" The girls ran out before Aunt Chelsea left the bathroom. They didn't mention the photograph of the scary woman with her dolls again. Chapter 5. Hide and Sneak. After Aunt Chelsea tucked Lily and River snug into bed, she turned off the light and closed the door. The girls playfully kicked at each other as they listened to Aunt Chelsea's footsteps walk down the hallway outside. River sat up and looked down at Lily. "Want to play hide and sneak, Lily?" she asked, mischief in her voice. Hide and Sneak was a game the girls had been playing ever since they were tiny. It was exactly like hide and seek, except it was only played in the dark, in secret. Besides the excitement from the game itself, it was also thrilling to avoid getting caught by their parents. If Aunt Chelsea knew they were out of bed playing late into the night, she'd probably get really mad. Lily's mom was furious after she caught the girls playing on Christmas Eve last year. That's what made it fun. "Of course," Lily whispered, bouncing in excitement. "You hide first." Lily covered her eyes and counted to 30. When she uncovered her eyes and tried to look around the room, all she could see was darkness and shadows. Other kids might have found the game scary, but Lily was proud of how easy it was for her to remain calm. So that's what Lily did. She stayed calm while she explored River's room. First, She pawed around the floor by the door, which was the darkest corner in the room. Then she made her way around the dresser, around the sides of the bed, and then in the closet, which turned out to be empty. Finally, Lily found River hiding in the space underneath her desk. She even had the chair pulled in a little bit, which was why Lily missed her originally. "That was a great spot," Lily said. "You really fooled me." "Ha!" River smiled, triumphant, then crawled back up on the bed so she could count. "Your turn to hide, Lily." River covered her eyes and started counting. Lily looked around the room quickly, desperate to find a spot that was even better than River's. First, she considered the closet, but there wasn't anything to hide behind. It was just a big open space. River would be able to find her right away if she even reached her arm in. Lily couldn't hide in the dark corner either. It was too obvious. And she certainly couldn't use River's own spot. That would just be embarrassing. River was on 10 when Lily looked to the pure black darkness that was beneath River's bed. What a brilliant spot. River would take forever to find Lily under there. Lily could move way back against the wall, so River would have to climb all the way under the bed to find her. Lily knew River would be afraid to do that, so she'd surely avoid it until it was the last possible option. Perfect. Lily quietly wriggled under the bed, careful not to bump against the frame or mattress and give herself away. She moved across the space, the smell of dust tickling her nose, until she could feel the cold wall. For some reason, there seemed to be a rug under the bed. Why would she have a rug under here? Lily wondered. 30, River announced, her voice coming directly above Lily. Ready or not, here I come. She heard River climb off the bed and start to make her way around the room. Lily could tell it was going to take longer to find her than it had taken to find River. She would be the winner of hide and sneak tonight. No doubt about it. Then Lily felt something hard underneath the rug. She moved her hand over the rug to see what the hard thing was. It felt like a big circle. Making sure not to make any noise, Lily lifted the corner of the rug up and away from the thing. She poked the circle with her fingers. It was a handle of some kind. Was there a trap door under River's bed? Whoa, Lily said without realizing it. River quickly scuffled over and stuck her head under. I heard you, she said. Come out. Darn it. She'd been too noisy. Why couldn't Lily have just waited until River found her to explore whatever was beneath the rug? Curiosity killed the cat, she thought vaguely, remembering the line from some book she'd read at home. What's that handle under your bed? Lily asked after she scooted out of her hiding spot. The one under the rug. River looked at Lily, confused. What do you mean, a handle? She asked. I've never looked under that rug before. Lily's heart jumped in her chest. She'd made a discovery. It wasn't quite a treasure chest in an abandoned cave, but it was exciting all the same. Grab your flashlight, Lily commanded, standing up. Let's see what it is. River got her flashlight. Then the two girls grunted as they used their strength to scoot the bed away from the wall. Once the rug was exposed, Lily told River to hold the flashlight while she dramatically lifted the rug away from the floor. Right away she saw the handle she'd felt before, a big smooth circle of metal that gleamed in the light. The handle was attached to a trap door. Chapter 6. The Doll. What is that? River asked, sounding confused. I didn't even know that was there. Lily couldn't handle the anticipation a moment longer. Let's open it. I'm scared, River said. I don't think we should. Lily thought about it for a second. It was weird that River didn't even know there was a trap door under her own bed. What if there was a reason for that? What if the trap door led to something bad? Lily shook the thought from her head. Why would there be anything bad under there? You hold the flashlight then, Lily said after a moment. I'll open it and look inside myself. You're crazy, River answered, but she held the flashlight up anyway. Lily stood on the other side of the trap door. She took a deep breath, then bent down, curled her fingers around the cold metal handle, and pulled. A piece of the floor lifted up, and Lily leaned it against the floor, revealing a wide, dark hole. River gasped. Inside the trap door, there was a dirt crawl space that led to somewhere underneath the bedroom. "I'm going in," Lily said. She was nervous to explore her new discovery alone, but thinking of all the sad news about Grandma made Lily extra brave, and not being able to go to the beach made her want to explore even more. She wanted to prove to herself that this trip meant something. "No way," River said, crossing her arms, which made the flashlight move away from the floor. Lily suddenly had a creepy flash of somebody popping out of the hole and grabbing her, pulling her beneath. "Put the light back over here," Lily whispered. River did what her cousin asked. "Do you have an extra flashlight?" Lily asked. River nodded. She went to her closet and got another flashlight, handing it to Lily. "Be right back," Lily whispered, giving her cousin a reassuring wink. "I'll tell you all about whatever it is I find." Lily pointed her light down into the hole, to the bottom of the dirt crawl space, and jumped in. When she stood in the hole, the floor of River's bedroom came up to her chest. In order to see what was inside, she'd have to crawl. Lily inched through the little passageway with the flashlight pointing ahead. There was a tiny room at the end of the space. Lily crawled toward it. Her mind raced with all sorts of potential things she could find. Old boxes filled with clothes and jewelry, or a safe filled with ancient coins. She finally made it into the tiny dirt room and shined her light to see what was inside. The room was completely empty, except for a tiny chair in the center. Sitting on the chair was an old-fashioned doll. Lily recognized it right away as one of the dolls from the creepy photograph River showed her earlier. It was the same doll that had been sitting on the old woman's lap. The sight of the doll startled Lily. What on earth was a doll doing down here? The doll wore a white frilly dress and had black curls that fell over its shoulders. There were dark scuff marks over the dainty little face. The eyes were looking right at Lily. "Don't be silly," Lily told herself. "The doll isn't looking at you at all. It's not alive." Still, something inside of Lily knew she should not touch the doll. It felt like bad luck. If she tried to move it from that chair, something bad could happen. Dolls were not supposed to be sitting by themselves in dark rooms made out of dirt. Something wasn't right. Suddenly, Lily felt like if she didn't get out of the tiny dirt room, she would start to panic, maybe even scream. Her heart beating in her ears, Lily scooted frantically through the dirt. She wanted to get as far away from the little room and the doll that was still looking straight at her. Its glass eyes shone in the beam of the flashlight. As she scrambled back, Lily noticed the light was on in River's room. The yellow glow spilled down into the dirt crawl space. Lily popped up out of the hole. She saw Aunt Chelsea was in River's room, sitting on her bed. Aunt Chelsea was putting her shoes on as if she was about to come in the hole after Lily. Uh-oh, they were in trouble. "Hi," Lily said, as casually as possible. River looked at her with worried eyes. Yep, they were definitely in trouble. "What in the world do you think you're doing?" Aunt Chelsea demanded, her face red. "Get out of there this instant, Lily." Ashamed, Lily climbed out of the hole. Even if she was in trouble, she was just happy to be out of that dirty hole. She was happy to be away from the doll that had sent chills up her spine. "I just wanted to explore," Lily said. "I wanted to see what was down there." "River," Aunt Chelsea interrupted Lily. "Please go get a washcloth from the bathroom. Lily needs to wash that dirt off of her face." River obeyed her mother right away, leaving Lily alone with Aunt Chelsea. As soon as River was gone, Aunt Chelsea turned to Lily and put her hands on her shoulders. "Did you see the doll?" she whispered. Aunt Chelsea sounded as if she was nervous to talk any louder, as if she was afraid the doll would hear them. "Yes," Lily said, feeling uncomfortable. What is it doing down there? Why is it all alone? Did it used to belong to that old lady who— Shh, Aunt Chelsea urged, pushing her finger to Lily's lips. Honey, I need you to listen to me. Do not tell anybody about that doll. Not River, not Uncle Tyler, nobody. Do you understand me? But why? Lily asked. River walked back into the bedroom. She held a damp washcloth in her hands. Thank you, River, Aunt Chelsea said pleasantly. Now, Lily can wash her face while I move your bed back to where it belongs. Chapter 7. Gone. Aunt Chelsea covered the trapdoor with the rug and moved the bed back to the corner of River's room. As she tucked the girls in, she warned them not to get up again. Good night, she said. She leaned down for a hug. She whispered, And Lily, remember what I said. Don't talk about the doll, no matter what. What are you whispering about, Mom? River asked from the other end of the bed. Nothing, dear, Aunt Chelsea answered, giving Lily a wink that sent a new wave of chills through her. Both of you go to sleep now. Then she was gone, and Lily was left trying to make sense of what had just happened. To know that the doll was below them, right this very minute, sitting in the pitch black in her tiny chair, horrified Lily. What was going on with that doll? She wondered. Why had Aunt Chelsea acted like that? So, River said in a quiet voice, Spill, what was down there? Anything cool? Lily didn't know how to answer. Aunt Chelsea was being so strange about the doll. It didn't make sense. Lily hated the idea of keeping such a weird secret to herself. It made her feel trapped somehow, even more trapped than knowing she wasn't allowed to go outside. How was she supposed to lie to River about it? She'd never lied to her cousin, ever. And if there was one thing Lily knew, it was that River was the best secret keeper. Do you promise not to tell? Lily asked. I mean it, River. You cannot tell your mom what I'm about to say. Promise me. Okay, River said, sounding a little irritated. I promise, Lily. Jeez, just tell me already. Lily took a deep breath. She wished more than anything that she and River were in her own bed, all the way in Arizona, far away from the secret room with the secret doll. There was a doll, Lily admitted finally, an old one, with a white dress. It was sitting in a tiny chair. What? River sat up. Suddenly, Lily wished they had never played hide-and-seek in the first place. What do you mean, a doll? It was in the middle of the room, Lily whispered, pulling the covers up to her chin to hide the fact that it was trembling. It was just sitting there, staring at me. Lily left out the part where Aunt Chelsea made her swear not to tell River about the doll. If she knew Lily was telling River about it, how mad would Aunt Chelsea be? Why was it so important the doll remain a secret? That is the creepiest thing I've ever heard, River said and laid back down. You're making it up to scare me. No, River, I swear. Lily tried, but her cousin shushed her. I don't want to hear any scary stories, River insisted, turning on her side toward the wall. Let's just go to sleep, okay?
45.
She lay there in the quiet darkness of the room. An awful feeling bloomed in her stomach. She should never have told River about the doll. She knew that now. What if her cousin got upset and told Aunt Chelsea about what Lily had said? Lily didn't even want to imagine what would happen. Plus, the doll was still down there, right this very second. Lily didn't think she'd be able to fall asleep, but before she knew it, her eyelids drooped down. When she opened them again, the morning sun was streaming in through the blinds. River was already up. Weird. Usually it was Lily who woke up first. Then, Lily remembered the doll. She stood up, and then dropped on her hands and knees to look under the bed. The rug was folded away from the trap door, exposing it. She could have sworn Aunt Chelsea had put the rug down before moving the bed back over. The doll hadn't come out, had it? She thought. No, of course not. Dolls don't walk or crawl out of trapdoors. Lily left the room to find River. Maybe her cousin was already eating breakfast or watching TV. But when Lily walked through the house, there was no sign of River anywhere. It was like River was gone. Lily looked out the windows, even though she knew they weren't allowed to play outside. But where else would River be if she wasn't in the house? Lily felt more sick with worry by the minute. Maybe River was playing a mean trick on her. Lily went back into River's room. She checked all the hiding places she'd thought of during last night's hide-and-sneak game. But River was nowhere to be found. Starting to panic, Lily tiptoed into Aunt Chelsea and Uncle Tyler's room. Uncle Tyler was snoring on his side of the bed, but Aunt Chelsea's side of the bed was empty. Maybe her aunt had taken River into town for something? That couldn't be it, though. Lily had seen the family's car parked out in the driveway. Something was wrong. "Uncle Tyler?" Lily said, shaking him awake. "River and Aunt Chelsea are gone." "What?" Uncle Tyler said groggily. "What do you mean they're gone?" "I can't find them anywhere," Lily said, starting to get upset. "I've looked everywhere. There was a doll in the room underneath River's room." Lily heard Aunt Chelsea's voice in her head. "Do not tell anybody about the doll." Lily was breaking the rule again, but desperate times called for desperate measures. "I think the doll is evil." "An evil doll, huh?" Uncle Tyler said as he rubbed his eyes. Lily could tell he wasn't taking her seriously. "I'll go check it out. Stay here, Lily. I'll be right back." Lily wanted to beg him to take her along, to not leave her alone. But she didn't want to make a bigger deal out of this than she already was. Uncle Tyler got up and walked into the hallway, calling Aunt Chelsea's name. Lily waited, and waited, and waited, and waited. Seconds passed, then minutes. Uncle Tyler never came back. Lily sat on her aunt and uncle's bed for as long as she could possibly stand it. Then she finally stood up and went out into the house. The ending is up to you. If you think Lily should return to the room underneath River's bed, turn to page 59. Or, if you think Lily should wait in the kitchen before looking for her family, turn to page 66. Or, if you think Lily should confront the doll in the living room, turn to page 73. Ending 1. Through the trap door. Her family was nowhere to be found. Lily looked in every single room of the house, including the garage, but she couldn't find her family anywhere. Soon, she was crying and screaming their names. She hit her fists on the walls, trying to make them come back. "Please," she hollered. "Please, please come back. I'm so scared." But they didn't come back. Lily sat on the couch with tears on her cheeks. She started thinking, was it possible her family was in the weird little room underneath the house? The room where that doll lived? She remembered how when she'd checked under River's bed that morning, the rug had been turned up. It was the only place that she hadn't looked yet. Lily realized if she wanted to find her family, she would have to return to the dark crawl space under her cousin's bed. When she went into River's bedroom, she noticed the bed was a little crooked, as if someone had moved it. Her hands felt tingly with fear, but her heart was desperate to see her family again. She reached forward and scooted the bed even more out of the way. Once the bed was moved, Lily pulled the rest of the rug away from the trapdoor. So much of her wanted to back away and run out of the room, but she couldn't stand the idea of being trapped in this house all by herself for another minute. She had to be a brave explorer one more time. Lily had a feeling her family was missing because she'd told them about the doll. That must have been why Aunt Chelsea warned her not to. When you tell somebody about it, that somebody disappears. Time to get them back, Lily told herself. She leaned down and pulled the trapdoor open. I have to save them. The crawl space was dark, even in the daytime. Lily took a flashlight out of River's closet and jumped down into the dirt. She was breathing heavily, like she'd been running for PE class. Come on, Lily, she told herself. You can do this. It's just a doll. After another deep breath, she got down to crawl through the passageway, using one hand to hold the flashlight. Her hand shook from how scared she was, but she still pressed on. River? She called out as she inched forward. Aunt Chelsea? Uncle Tyler? Suddenly, Lily heard a giggle up ahead. At first, Lily thought she might have imagined it, but then it happened again, the very clear and distinct giggle of a little girl. It had to be her cousin. It just had to be. River? Lily said, relief filling her chest. I'm so happy I found you. Why are you down here in the dark? Did you come to see the doll? Lily finally reached the end of the passageway and scooted into the little underground room. River? She said again. She lifted the flashlight to see where her cousin was. But River wasn't in the room. Instead, in the spot where the doll had been sitting last night were not one, but 5 tiny chairs set up in a row. The first doll she saw looked startlingly like River, and the sight of it made Lily gasp. The River doll stared ahead, its eyes wide, its mouth open in a silent scream. In the next chair, there was a doll that looked like Aunt Chelsea, even wearing the same pajamas Aunt Chelsea wore. In the third chair, there was one that was just like Uncle Tyler. The last 2 chairs were empty. What? Lily cried out, pure horror filling her quick-beating heart. You were turned into dolls! She turned you into dolls like her! Before Lily could do anything else, she heard a scuffling sound in the dirt behind her. Then came another giggle that sounded just like the ones before. Slowly, Lily turned the flashlight around, leaving her family in the dark to see who or what exactly was behind her. It was the doll from last night, with its white frilly dress and long black curls. It stood upright at the mouth of the passageway, blocking Lily from the exit. Lily fell on her backside. She frantically shuffled backward until she accidentally ran straight into the family of dolls, knocking them all over. She could hear and feel the dolls tumble out of the chairs and onto the dirt floor. Lily felt like she was going to throw up. The evil doll stared ahead in silence. It raised its little arm up, its fingers stretched out as if to reach for Lily. As Lily watched, its scuffed little mouth opened wide, revealing 2 rows of tiny teeth that were as pointy as needles. The doll's fangs glistened in the beam of the flashlight. Play with us, a growly little voice said from somewhere deep inside the doll. Stay down here forever. Lily opened her mouth and began to scream. Just then, the batteries in her flashlight ran out. Everything went black. Ending 2. Playing Dolls. Lily walked down the hallway outside of Uncle Tyler and Aunt Chelsea's bedroom toward the kitchen and the living room. Uncle Tyler? She called out. Nobody answered. She went through all the rooms in the house again. Her family was nowhere to be found. Something was very, very wrong. Lily knew it as well as she knew any other truth. Aunt Chelsea had told her not to tell anybody about the doll. Was her family gone because she broke the rule? To imagine that it was her fault they were missing made Lily upset. She remembered how disturbed River had seemed when Lily told her about the doll. I'm sorry, Lily whispered, even though River wasn't there to hear her. I'm so sorry, everybody. Lily sat at the kitchen table for what felt like hours, waiting for her family to come back. But they never did. She imagined the alligators outside the house circling in on her, getting closer by the minute. She imagined the dolls sitting in the dark underneath the house, waiting for her. Lily eventually stood up and went into River's room again, knowing what she had to do. She stared at the bed for a few moments. The silence of the house was thick enough to make the air feel funny. Lily took a deep breath and stepped forward to shove the bed aside. Lily looked down at the already disturbed rug. She moved it aside to reveal the trap door with the metal handle. She stared down at it, trying to reach down and open it, but something was happening to her arms. They felt stiff and numb. They were stuck at her sides. Her whole body began to tingle, like her muscles were waking up from being asleep. Then, she couldn't feel anything at all. Lily tried to scream, but no sound came out. In fact, her mouth didn't move. Her face felt hard and unmovable. What is happening to me? Then, Lily let herself see something she'd been ignoring ever since that rainy morning in the kitchen with Mom and Dad. That was the moment all of this really began, Lily realized, her memory working in a way that it never had before. This had all started with Lily sitting at the kitchen table, eating waffles during a thunderstorm. Then the phone call came about Grandma's heart attack, the phone call that made her Florida trip happen in the first place. Even then, there had been giant fingers wrapped around Lily's middle. They moved her around and made her walk, talk, and think. It had just been so easy to ignore it, like it was just a normal part of everyday life. Now, Lily remembered that it was. The fingers had been attached to River, too. They were also attached to Lily's mom and dad, and her aunt and uncle, even the flight attendant on the plane and the waitress from the crab restaurant. Suddenly, Lily was lifted into the air away from River's bedroom. Lily now realized as she saw the house from far away, it was once decorated as her own home. How funny. She'd still been in Arizona all this time. Lily was tilted backward and found herself staring up into the face of a little girl. She was not a doll like Lily was. Her eyes were filled with tears, and her bottom lip was trembling a little bit. Lily desperately wanted to comfort the girl with a hug, but she couldn't unless the girl moved Lily's arms herself. "It's okay," Lily wanted to say, but nothing came out. This was her girl, she realized. Lily had been in this dollhouse for years, but up until now they'd been playing a different game. Something was new about this one. It was something they'd never played before. A scary game. A sad game. Suddenly, the giant bedroom door behind the girl opened. A tall woman in a black dress came in. Lily recognized her as the girl's mother. "Come on, Rose, honey," the mother said. She put her hand on the girl's shoulder. "It's time to go to Grandma's funeral." "Okay," Rose said softly. She set Lily with all the other dolls that were used to play River and Aunt Chelsea and Uncle Tyler and Mom and Dad. "I was just playing dolls. It made me feel better." Then Rose started to sniffle. "Grandma gave me this dollhouse, remember?" "I do," Rose's mother said. "She would be so happy to know that you're still playing with it." Lily realized Rose was wearing a black dress and had been for the length of the entire game. It must have had something to do with why the game was so sad and stressful and scary. Lily was filled with contentment for the first time since they started their game. She was happy that she was able to help Rose sort through her feelings, but was happy for the opportunity to take a rest. The woman leaned down and hugged Rose. Then they headed for the door. Before she stepped out, Rose threw Lily one more glance, as if to make sure she was still there. "Don't worry, Rose," Lily thought as the door closed and left her alone with all the other dolls. I will be here waiting for you whenever you're ready to come back. Ending 3. Cracked. Lily stepped out of Uncle Tyler and Aunt Chelsea's room and into the dark hallway. The house was silent and still. She wished there was a light on to help make it less creepy. Walking slowly, she made her way into the living room. The curtains over the sliding glass door leading to outside were closed. The light in the kitchen was on, but nobody was in there. Sitting on the center of the couch in the living room was the doll from underneath River's room. What did you do with them? Lily asked softly, taking a step toward the doll. It just sat there, those glassy eyes staring straight ahead. What did you do with my family? Lily waited a few moments, as if the doll would speak to her, but there was only quiet. Something in Lily told her the doll could and would move if it wanted to. Being near it felt wrong somehow, like it was haunted, making the air buzz. Give me my family back, Lily demanded and took another step forward. Don't you understand how awful it is to have your family taken away from you, just like that, without any sort of warning first? Just like Grandma, Lily realized. Grandma had been taken away from her, just like River and Aunt Chelsea and Uncle Tyler had. It wasn't right. Lily refused to be okay with it, refused to accept it as reality. I hate you! Lily screamed at the doll, running forward and picking it up. She didn't care if it was dangerous, or if it could hurt her, or take her to wherever it had taken her family. I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! Lily ran into the kitchen with the doll, shaking it as she hollered. In her rage, she took it by the ankles and swung it against the edge of the kitchen counter. The doll's face cracked down the middle, its thick curls bouncing violently. Still screaming, Lily lifted the doll and hit it on the counter again and again and again. Soon, the doll was in ruins. The porcelain face and arms were broken into a million pieces scattered all over the kitchen. Lily grabbed some meat scissors from the knife block on the counter and cut the doll's cloth dress and body into shreds. When she was done, sitting on the kitchen floor, surrounded by pieces of the destroyed doll, Lily stopped crying. She thought she heard something in the other room. She stood up quickly, her heart pounding in her chest. Without hesitation, Lily ran to Uncle Tyler and Aunt Chelsea's room. She was stunned by what she saw. River was on the bed between Aunt Chelsea and a loudly snoring Uncle Tyler. All of them there, safe, sleeping. Lily ran forward, happy tears welling in her eyes. River! She cried out, wrapping her sleeping cousin into a hug. You're here! You're okay! Of course I'm okay, River groaned, squinting in the light of the morning. I came in here last night because I had a scary dream. But Lily knew it couldn't be true. She'd been here herself just minutes before, talking with Uncle Tyler. Then everyone had disappeared. Are you okay, Lily? Aunt Chelsea asked sleepily, sitting up. You look upset. Not at all, Lily beamed at them. Not anymore, anyway. I destroyed the doll, Aunt Chelsea. We don't have to be afraid anymore. It can't hurt us. What doll? Uncle Tyler asked. Yes, what doll? Aunt Chelsea looked genuinely confused. Don't you remember? Lily asked. Last night, you caught us playing hide and sneak. I went to the room underneath the trap door and you got mad and talked to me about the doll. Aunt Chelsea smiled. I think you had a nightmare, she said. There isn't any room hidden under this house. But there is, Lily insisted. She jumped up and ran to River's room. I'll show you. Her family followed her into River's room. Lily struggled to move the bed aside until Uncle Tyler stepped forward and helped. What is it you think is under here, Lily? He asked as he slid the bed to the middle of the room. You'll see, Lily said. Underneath the bed was the rug, laying flat over the floor. Lily leaned down, picked up the rug by the corner, and peeled it back quickly. River and Aunt Chelsea and Uncle Tyler looked at Lily in surprise. I forgot about this trap door, exclaimed Aunt Chelsea. She looked at Uncle Tyler with wide eyes. When we first moved in, I thought the door was creepy, so I covered it with the rug. I never even opened it. Weird, River said, crinkling her nose at the sight of the door on the floor. Super weird. Just wait until you see what's inside, Lily said, leaning down to open the trapdoor. At the sight of what was inside, she gasped, staring down in disbelief. The space that used to be the dark passageway was filled completely solid, packed with dark brown dirt. It was as if the underground room had never existed at all.